Yo, 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 what's going on? Y'all forgive me for my tardiness. Very, very, very hectic morning. We're gonna get it in anyway. Oh, what's up? Blood Love. Palace Finest Bullies. Oh yeah, that's my thing. Oh Boosie, Cincinnati, Ohio. What's going on? East Shore. Hey, blessings, Julian. Yes, it was one of them days, man. One of them weekends, but I'm learning not to trip. We get it in. Shalina, how you doing? Total Bully. Oh, here go Larry. Man, here you go, somebody here. I got hair. My hairline's still intact. For now, anyway. Just be your man. I wanna be your friend. Y'all see, I got my road dog with me. I just love the way you act, and that's the fact. Oh, the family life don't stop. So get to that. What's going on, Mark? Definitely feeling better, brother. I think I'm getting closer to. I'll tell you about some things. Damn, John. Hey, I told you I used to sell them old cars, man, and good Lord. I probably had about 50 transmissions rebuilt. And most of them was on Fords and Chryslers. Man, Larry, I still got my hairline. I pops it off. Boom. I'm still there. I always had a big forehead, so I ain't even receding. You look at my pictures when I was a kid. I always had a big ass forehead, so yeah, I'm good, man. Alan Dennis, what's up? Hey, on the porch for sure. You know, when you put on Boosie, it's time to act up. Empire Gate, what's going on? I'd rather be with you, yeah. This song, oh, and it is Sunday, 999, it's Sunday. And I'm about to say something trifling. This song got one of the most epic lines he said in a minute. But, oh man. If any of y'all listen to Boosie, y'all know the line. We're gonna have some fun today, man. My voice is actually back. My homie Mike let me rest my voice.
You might think I'm trying to be funny.
You might think I'm trying to be funny.
I'm really serious this time.
I'm serious this time, baby. Tell him.
Even though it's a cold world, baby.
Hey,
But you know deep down inside that I do love you.
this is when they was making music for real. Y'all know I let these play for we can get the numbers up real quick, and I share it to a couple of things. And we gonna make it this time, baby. You know what? My dad had the most incredible album collection. This one, they cut that line out, man. Ah, shit. I thought he was gonna say it, but yeah, cause I can actually hear him at the end. But I tell you what, you know what I'm saying? Whew, I tell you what, adversity, you know, makes champions. Um, Adversity makes champions in so many fucking ways. You know what I mean? You know, so I tell you, you know, I talked about the ugliness of this bully game, man, and everything that's come with it, everything that's you know, transpired, you know, all the ugly stuff that people do to each other, you know. And I, you know, and the thing of it is, man, back in the day, I used to do pup giveaways every now and then. You know, a lot of times just trying to find them good homes and shit. You know, who knows, might do it like that. I tell you what, Ryan Campbell. Now, my one homie, Daniel, he's got a lookalike Mandela boy that's going to him, and he's a bad motherfucker. The one that posted, you know what I'm saying? Me and my son did that, or my son, whatever. But the one that I posted, I tell you what, that dog is gonna be special. The thing, he's got all of Mandela's features, he got everything that Mandela has. He's even got Mandela's face when he was young. The one thing about him though is that he looks like he's gonna be a little more compact. You know, I've been starving those dogs out to make sure that they don't get like super heavy and lose their structure. But I tell you what, man, I tell you what. From that breeding, it was two. One is headed over to whatchamacallit now. That was an old picture, Alan Dennis. That was an old picture. Yeah, that boy now is like 5 years old. Yeah, I just seen that picture and wanted to post it. I love that dog. I sold that dog to a lady and she said that she wasn't she just loved the dog. And I seen him as an adult. He's beautiful, but I never got pictures of him, you know. Sort of screwed up. The name of that pup is the tri-female. The other male is headed to Tampa. He's beautiful. They look a lot alike. The other one, it's weird. He's got a small hint of tri, especially through his rear, but they look a lot alike. It's funny now, like I guess Mandela's like, shit, my career is about to be coming towards its end, so I'm just gonna start throwing clones of myself, and he's doing it over and over again now. But that little dude, whoever gets that little dude, gonna be lucky as hell. I always hate, I ain't gonna say I hate it, but y'all, some of y'all been around and y'all seen this. I had that Denzel son, Samson. I had him up for sale. The shit went on for about 3 weeks. A bunch of people like, okay, I'm gonna get him. Then they never buy him. Then somebody else and somebody else. And I always told them, I was like, man, y'all gonna regret that shit. And they regretted it. Then it was Jax, and Jax was the same way. It was several of the studs that I've sold people, including Uno. And Uno was up for sale, I think, for maybe 3 weeks before that clown ended up buying him with all those lies. You know, I thought he was gonna do the right thing. But everybody passed on Uno. And Uno ended up being one of Denzel's nicest sons ever, grand champion, and was the poster boy for the ABKC standard for like 6 years. So like, you know, I know a lot of breeders, like, you know, those who talk to me, they know what it is. Like, I don't glorify a puppy. If I don't like a puppy, I don't give a damn if it's mine. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, I don't like the puppy. You know, Jesus, he been my dog for many years. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, Jesus is like a brother to me. That's family. You know, we've been rolling that long, and he'll tell y'all, if I don't like a dog, I won't say I like a puppy to sell the puppy. You know, so like when I tell y'all that when I got to lay eyes finally on the little Mandela clone, the one that I posted up, and I really got to look at the dog, I'm telling you, somebody's gonna come into a great amount of luck. Let's just say that, a great amount of luck. He's gonna be one of those dogs that in another 18 months, 2 years, people are gonna be like, oh shit. Because he has the ability to be a little more compact than his dad, look like his dad, but be a little more compact, and also, what's going on, Jonathan Alvarez? What's up, brother? He also has the opportunity to be what I aim for, and it be cleaner than his dad's, you know. So I'm glad that the Hall of Fame camps is, you know, picking up the slack for me, because it is going down and it's big, you know, with him. And some of y'all probably like, well, why would you get rid of him? I got reasons. Exactly, Jonathan. Exactly. I have reasons. You know what I mean? It's some stuff over here that's cooking. You know what I'm saying? And when it's cooking, you gotta let it cook. I wish that I could keep everything. You know what I mean? You know. If you have a stud that is from a long line of producers, you have great ingredients. And if bred correctly and he's carrying the right phenotype, which means, you know, he's not throwing any flaws into the action, he should be a very good producer. You know, I think far too many times we accredit the dogs themselves for being just the producers. You know, oh, we got to stir the pot. We got to stir the pot. But I think what we sometimes forget is that us as and I'm just sharing right now, so not trying to be rude, but us as dog men and women, when we do our breedings, we decide how great of a stud the dog is going to be. You know, for sure. SOD, shoot me another text to the 346 number, because I destroyed a lot of shit when the dude tried to kill me. But you know, like the way you manage your dogs, like, you know, like I don't take any credit away from Denzel, but I'll tell you this, is that I avoided a lot of dogs with Denzel, and the dogs that I approved, I felt very strongly that he would do a good job with. That's one of the reasons why he ended up being one of the greatest producers ever during his breeding career, is because, you know, it's all about picking the proper stuff that you know is going to go right, you know. No, hell no. 14 months, your dog is far from done. You know, far from done. You got another year and a half at least before your dog is done. And I say at least because I've had them go 4 years. So with Shamrock's blood, you at least going 3 years, 3 to 4 years. That dog is far from done. You know, I almost laugh at a 14-month-old dog is a damn puppy. Believe that, brother. You know, if you love him now and his structure has stayed on point now, you're gonna be in love later, because now where all the girth and all of the maturity comes in, the dog is gonna. You should take pictures now, and come back to this date next year. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead and compare. You're gonna see a totally different dog, man. And I think, especially if you know, the bully world has taught us to rush everything. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't be rushing everything, man. We should be, you know, enjoying the process. You know, enjoying the process. Oh, much love. I appreciate y'all listening to me. You know, knowledge is nothing if it's going on deaf ears. But this is something I wanted to talk about, and y'all sort of led me right into it, is that, you know, it's a big difference. And I'm not here to trash everybody's dogs and all that shit. But what I can tell y'all is that the real American bullies, I'm speaking from my knowledge. I'm speaking from 25 plus years. I've literally seen the dogs that some people see on pedigree and wish they seen, I seen them. You know what I mean? I was right there rubbing on Nemesis, you know, Kamali, you know, Cairo, oh, Paddington. Oh, let's go past Cairo. Paddington, you know what I'm saying? His mama, you know. It's what's going on, CC. I missed some of y'all questions, so don't think I'm ignoring y'all, you know. But the thing of it is that these dogs, the very essence, if y'all want to know what the original recipe for an American bully was, it was a slow process, and it was something that we had to look at and say, you know what? Trust the blood. That's where the statement comes from Hall of Fame kennels, and some other people use it now. But trust the blood became a very, very, very prominent statement for one reason. If y'all, I'm gonna try to find it, right? Somebody made a collage of pictures of Hallie when she was a puppy, Nemesis. Hold on, who was there? Paco, Hallie, Remy, Nemesis, Kamali. It was somebody else on there, and they had all these dogs when they were like about 3 to 4 months old. And I tell you the truth, none of them were very good looking puppies. You know, you might see some chest on 1 or 2 of them, but you know, Hallie, I have her picture. I'll post it on the page after this. I have that particular picture. You know, I will never forget it. I posted on many pages. I was like, this bitch is gonna change the game. And people laughed, man. But she didn't look special, but I had seen things in her. I seen the width in her back. I knew the blood. I seen the shoulder set. I seen how excellent her movement was. And at this time, it still was hard for people to see the vision because they only believed in the fact of, you know, the puppy has to be bully in order to be a bully or dog, where that's where the term pop come from. Even if you listen to Dave Wilson's videos, sometimes you'll hear Dave keep on talking about this term that we used to, and Dave doesn't really do a lot of videos anymore, but when he did, he would always talk about the term, the dog pops at this age, the dog pops at that age. What that pop is, of course, is a growth spurt. And I'm telling you, literally, if you had the real old edge blood, especially, your dogs would look like massive pit bulls. You know what I'm saying? Massive pit bulls. You say you're only 33. I'm only 43. So you know, I've been around a long time. Actually, that's just with these dogs. I actually started with Rottweilers when I was 14. Yeah, Granny and them was hooking me up, man. But you know, you have to allow these dogs to grow into their bodies. And that's why I often laughed at the idea of a puppy championship, because you'll see dogs, and I think one of the more famous dogs who did this was 2 famous dogs that did this, and y'all help me out. I know Warren G was one of them. And there was another one, and I cannot think of which one it was, but they both champed out at like 6 months old, right? But neither one of them lived a very long life. Their conformation was very solid when they were young, but as they got older, their conformation fell off, their health fell off. You know, one of the reasons that both of these dogs died at a young age. But they champed out and beat adults at 6 months old, and I always thought that that was asinine to compare a puppy to an adult, because it's phases that these dogs have to go through in order for us to decide what they really are. You know, Iro himself was not the best of looking puppies. You know, like I told y'all, Remy was so ugly that I forget the exact dollar figure, but it was like $800 in a treadmill or some shit like that they sold Remy for, because they just didn't believe in him. Paco, if I'm not mistaken, Paco was like actually the 3rd pick. And they just basically gave Paco away, you know, not gave him away, but trust me, if those dudes would have known, you know, what Paco could become, you know, he would have never been sold, you know. It's just that simple. But it's definitely a patience game. You know, it's the one thing that you have to do is you just have to wait it out. You know, you have to wait it out. You have to, I struggle with this. Now, I personally don't struggle. I struggle with people trying to teach people that it's an importance in allowing your dogs time to mature. It's an importance in giving your dogs the opportunity to allow their bones to mature, to allow their joints to mature. So to be honest with you, you don't want an incredibly bully puppy. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. Another dog I can tell you, you know what I'm saying? You'll see. You don't have to wait till it's 3 years old. You'll see that you're on to something. You know, I was just about to talk about Remus's dad. You know, Remus did the same thing his dad did. But you'll see around 2 years old that the dogs, you know what I'm saying, they'll do it, you know. And we could go on and on because y'all naming off some dogs. Like even Mufasa and that litter is complicated because, you know what I'm saying, Pumbaa was a pocket, you know what I'm saying, and Pumbaa didn't have the best conformation. but Romeo and Mufasa came out bigger and had great conformation. So it's a different ways to break that pedigree down. But all of these dogs, if you notice, like you don't see pictures of a puppy Mufasa running around or anything like that. Because in general, not to say that he was a horrible dog, but he looked nothing like he looked as an adult. The true American bullies, they age and they progress totally different. Now, Mark brought up Remus, which his father is Gannicus, or as we call him, Gan Man. Gannicus was so ugly. Oh gosh, Gannicus was so ugly. You know, the guy that I originally sold him to, you know, he messaged me and, you know, several times, and he was like, man, dog, you know. And for a while, you know, it was almost to the point where it was like contentious, but we was cool enough that it didn't get contentious. But he was like, man, you know, I trusted you. I got, you know, I wanted this dog, man. And man, he ain't it, man. He ain't it. And he kept saying that shit. He's like, he ain't it, man. I said, look, I said, what's the motto? You know, I'm gonna talk about the small litters in a second. And I said, what's the motto? And he always be like, yeah, it's that motherfucking trust the blood, but I don't know about him, fam. And I told him, I said, it is what it is. I said, if he doesn't turn out properly, then we'll do something on another litter. I said, you give him to a family member, or you let your girls, you know, just keep him as a pet, and we'll go ahead and one up it and get a better dog. So it was about, you know, that time, Gan Man was probably in that area of about 6 months. So, you know, I didn't hear from him for a while, not about the dog. And then it was probably about, man, right around when Gan Man was probably about 14 months. He posted a picture of this dude and the damn internet went crazy. You know what I'm saying? The internet went crazy. When he posted the first picture after Gan Man's head had exploded and the muscles in the shoulders start popping out, and Mark posted some pictures where you can see the comparison where he basically throws that, because Remus was the same way. And then as they get older, they just turn into these machines. And you know what I'm saying? And when he posted that picture, I had to inbox him. I was like, you still want to give me back that dog? Yeah, of course I got a great big F you, but but it you know, it's almost like urban legend now. If you're dealing with especially edge blood, you have to be patient. Your dogs are going to go through lanky stages. They're going to go through, just like Jonathan said, very, very terrier stages. And the reason being is, like Sean, my good friend Sean Gilmore said, is that we were the family, saying the Edge family. The Edge family, we were the ones who really, really, really didn't believe in Bulldog mixing and all that shit. We didn't believe in that. You know what I mean? So with that being said, with us not believing in that at all, our dogs were truly, for the most part, you always got some people who don't keep it real, so I won't say everybody was squeaky clean, even though I don't know everybody's business, but I would think that would be naive to say everybody's squeaky clean. But in the Edge family, you had a collection of dogs that generally you just had to wait for them. You know what I'm saying? You just had to wait for them. You know, you had to wait for them to mature. That's why it was always sold on you know what I mean? Trust the blood. Oh, Braden, don't tell them nothing. That shit was good, but you know, but it was a different format too, because the Edge family, we took pride in the fact that our dogs were sort of hot. You know, Cairo was very hot. Like I told y'all, Remy would snatch fire. What's going on? My man Tyler, what's up, my brother? But you know, Remy would snatch fire out of your ass. His dad, Blue Ruckus, was probably one of the worst. Very, 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 very fiery dog. Wasn't taking no shit. You had a lot of dogs. Paddington was another one that she wasn't taking no shit. You know, Hallie would have her moments where she wasn't really the nicest dog. Little Ro would even square up on somebody. All these dogs had drive still. You know, they still had the terrier in them, even though their look was changing. And one of the other things that you'll notice is with the older dogs especially, is that you wouldn't see full litters. You know what I'm saying? The latest a dog will pop, 3 years. Definitely, for real, dead serious. 3 years. I've seen some dogs that was basically about to be shipped off to Pettsville, and all of a sudden they was winning shows. It happens. That's not normal, but it happens. But you had, it was a different base back then. You know what I'm saying? If you got 11 times Remy, you got some beautiful blood. I want more Remy blood, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get it, you know what I'm saying? But Remy was a magnificent dog, but Juan Gotti, if you look at Juan Gotti, man, Gotti was, what's going on, Brad? I'm gonna call you after this. I was so happy that you messaged me because I don't know if he's watching these things, but my phone's got pretty much jacked up a little bit. So yeah, I was looking for your message, man. I was doing shit like putting in just different words to try to pull it up, and a lot of people's stuff is out of there. It still hasn't uploaded. It's got that bar that's saying uploading information, but I'm glad you sent that message because it pulled all your shit right back in there. Say, I definitely got to tell you about it, but yeah, I'm feeling good, brother, and I think we about to be back in action. You know what I mean? Remy, it's some Remy dogs out there that's down 18 and 20 times Remy. They used to, when they said one dog, one line with the Remy family, they meant that shit. That's all they bred was Remy, Amazingly, they didn't have like horrible flaws either. It was pretty crazy. Monster G blood was some good shit, Monster G blood basically went very, very well with the edge dogs. Very, very well with the edge dogs. He would bring in his more bulldog bullier effect, whereas the other dogs would clean them up and it would make a nice balance. It's funny that we say that. It's funny that we say that now, because if you look at Monster G now, he doesn't even look bully. Back then, Monster G was very, 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 very controversial. That's just like Corrupt. You look at Corrupt now and it's like, ain't much to him. But back then it was like, oh my God, who the hell brought the bulldog out? But Remy blood, I do agree, it was too tight. It got too tight, but it's so easy to manipulate. And like I said, if you somebody just said that having an out, if you got one good out, you're good to go. Oh man, Tyler got a boy over there, man. He looks so much like Gotti. It looked like he looked like he could be a direct, not grandson, but a son, I mean, I love the old dogs, and the thing of it is that, like, when y'all hear me talk about the old dogs, it's dogs that's included in there, like Clydesdale, who I posted. Clydesdale had one of the biggest fronts, big beautiful head, one of the more incredible dogs in the history of the breed, and he was bullied. He was bullied, but he had the cheeks. You know what I'm saying? I haven't found anybody who has the Clydesdale straws. I know who to call now. I need to get in touch with them. You know what I mean? I very, very much so need to get in touch with them. Yeah, keep it bully. If nothing else, you got to get him froze, man. If nothing else, because one of us gonna come up with the proper blood. I would love so much to have infuse some of that real Gotti blood back into the program, because the old Gotti blood was good. They had drive, they could move. And then y'all know what I'm leading towards is that the American bully, and if anybody on here, I don't take for granted that everybody knows who I am, or that everybody knows, my role in the American bully and everything like that. And I'm not gonna run it all down, but I will tell you this. I was there. I was there in Spotsylvania, Virginia. I was sitting in the room with all the other guys. I was in the conversations. I was putting in my piece like they were putting in their piece. My bitch was the reason that the standard was written, along with, not the reason, but the actual ABKC original, which is the original American bully standard for a registry. It's always debatable about what whatchamacallit had going on. But the thing of it is this: I know what the standard is supposed to be. I know what these dogs were supposed to be. Everything else, it's still some people with old Gotti blood, but there's far and few in between. The dog that me and Tyler was talking about, he has some old Gotti blood in him, and Tyler has him. But I tell you, the American bully, and I'm just telling y'all from my experience being there, you know what I'm saying, my hand in this, it was never meant to be a bulldog. We had specific, and I'm going to explain, some of y'all this is going to be boring because y'all know this, but a lot of people say, why no Merle? Why no Merle? Why no Merle? The conversation in that room, it was very, very specific. It was a couple other things that almost got put out, but one of the things is when we sat in that room and we were putting together the American bully for the ABKC, you know what I mean? One of the big issues with the Merle was the AKC and the UKC have already agreed that this pattern, it's not a color, it's a pattern, but this does not occur naturally in these dogs. So once that decision was made that this does not happen, and we had already said the same thing too, but since our dogs were coming from AKC and UKC stock, you know what I mean, it became a thing that a lot of issues that we see with the dog when we were making the standards, some of the disqualifying issues that you see directly goes towards the bulldog. And this is, I'm giving y'all the history of this shit so y'all can really understand. And some of y'all understand, so I'm not insulting your intelligence because y'all been here long enough and dealt with this. But others who are trying to learn the breed, I'm going to tell you, the reason why people always talk about almond-shaped eyes, it's very, very well known that most bulldog breeds have very circular eyes. In some cases, bug eyes. You know, their eyes are very, very buggy at times. And when you talk about, you know, the Staffy and the UKC American Pit Bull Terrier, excuse me, these dogs have almond-shaped eyes. This was a genetics thing. If our stock was supposed to come from those dogs and we were supposed to selectively breed up, we should not be accepting issues and flaws, you know what I mean, that went with other things. The same reason why I say the Merle was discounted. There was supposed to be no all-white dogs. This was always a rule with those dogs too, you know. So, excuse me, you know what I mean. It became a thing of the standard was written as much to match our vision of a pit bull on steroids as it was to discount anybody bringing bulldog type blood into the breed. That's why earlier on, and I don't know why it changed, any kink in the tail would used to be a disqualification. For whatever reason, they took it off the disqualification list. Now I've been hearing that not only is there grand champion with an obvious kink tail like a damn chicken wing or something, there's also another dog that has titled with a dock tail. That was never supposed to be the case because we know where we know possibly where those tails could come from. Not to say that it always happens, because you can produce them naturally, but if they're produced naturally, it's not a show dog. It can be a breeding stock dog. But we definitely wanted to curb the idea that you could have a bunch of bulldog traits and still come in our ring and win. So with all that being said, you know, we that was another issue that we wanted gone. The looser skin. This is why the importance of the description pit bull on steroids, and you hear people talk about the cheeks. You know what I'm saying? The cheeks. I know everybody think, oh, that's just describing the edge. Look, it was something very important about that. The cheeks thing became very, very important, and it's a way deeper conversation than just, oh, this is what I like. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, this is what I like. This is what I like. No, if you look at the UKC, right? You go to the UKC and you look at their pit bull terriers, and if you look at the Staffies, and if you look at their face straight on, one thing that separates their look from every other dog's is they have a very, 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 very well-defined, well chiseled face. Henceforth, the look of the cheeks. Now we wanted to enhance that and make those faces bigger. Bully scientists, just inbox me, and I'll let you know what's up on because one of them I believe is gone, but we can talk about that, work it out or whatever, you know. Carlos, inbox me, man. It's a badass. Well, it's two badass Mandela males. You know what I mean? But this is one thing I'll tell you is that, man. Let me turn this down so the air is sort of loud. But one of the things that, you know, that pit bull on steroid look, one of the things that pit bull on steroid look really did is it separated the breed. This was a real conversation that we had because we knew going in early, right? We knew going in early that there was a great possibility that we were going to see a lot of issues, you know what I mean? Basically with the UKC community, which lawsuits were filed by the UKC community, believe it or not, and the ABKC had to deal with those, you know. We also knew that it was a possibility, which never happened, that it could be some ramifications from the AKC because we were literally using their breeds as part of our advertisement to say that we're creating something else. So, you know, they do have copyrights on those names and different things like that. So they tried some legal maneuvering to stop it. And Dave Wilson is not lying to y'all when he says that he went through a lot. And no matter what our splits is, I want to clear this up because some people think like, oh, you hate Dave. I don't hate Dave. You know, deep down, I got mad love for Dave, and I wish him, his kids, his wife, nothing but the best. Our separation as a people comes from dogs and what he did with the American Bully. I don't think it's ever that personal or that serious for me to have hatred towards the man. I don't want to see any harm done to the man. You know what I mean? I think, you know, I got my opinions on him. You know, I got my opinions on his behavior, but I don't hate Dave Wilson. You know what I'm saying? That was my guy. We had some good moments. We did some amazing things together as a family, all of us, you know? And I've seen that said a lot of times, and it sort of hits a nerve with me because even the cats that I really don't like, it still got a little bit of love for them because, you know what I mean? You do something so great, you know? And I do believe that what we did was great at that time. You had a collection of cats, like I say, traveling the country, at some points traveling the world. You know, we literally were taking, you know, sometimes 10 and 14-day vacations places and bonding with each other, but also plotting out how we were going to make this breed better around the world. So this is why I have no problem giving Cruz his credit, giving Dave his credit, people that, you know, I've fallen off with, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe in that you totally discredit everything, you know what I mean? From your history with people based off of your disagreements, you know what I mean? You know, you can't do that. So I don't want people to think that just because I say don't fuck with them now, you know what I mean, that I have hatred towards them. No, we have a dispute about the dogs, and basically, you know, now that's one part I don't bite my tongue on. Dave and a lot of those other guys, they sold the American Bully out, and it wasn't just about the sellout, you know. If you talk about, and this is going into the topic, if it's the sellout is one thing, but the ramifications of the sellout is another thing, you know. And the ramifications of this sellout is what really brings I say the tension. Because for those of us, and you got some cats like Jay Hobbs, you know what I'm saying, Jake Lipton, you know what I'm saying, OG Danny Navoa. Don't a lot of y'all don't know these guys' names, but they dogs is all over your pedigrees. And the thing of it, and the thing of it is that you know what I mean, is that those guys put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this shit, literally, you know. Danny Navoa put so much work into this. I mean, Danny shut down his own business, literally. You know what I'm saying? Danny was creating time and space to make sure that the American Bully got out. Right now, I'm gonna do a interview, you know, with Danny, and everybody know me and Danny is very, very close and everything. But Danny will go in his file cabinet till right now, to this day, like on some historic shit. Danny has the original paperwork and organizational shit from the Elite Edge and the shit that led up to the ABKC. He's got all that paperwork still to this day. He was putting in the time. You had these brothers, Adrian and Alfredo, out in California. The original ABKC office was in a spare bedroom at their house. You know what I mean? Yeah, Top Shelf Kane is around. Yeah, he's owned by Darlene. I could get you in touch with him. But you know, I mean, these people were, I mean, people were putting it down. And I'm gonna tell you, how did this separation happen? This is what always happens when money gets involved. You hear it sometimes with musicians, right? You know what I'm saying? Literally, it's a story about Miles Davis, you know what I'm saying? The legendary trumpet player, you know? Miles was, you know, he was a different type of cat. But his music was his art. It was his passion. Miles wasn't about no fucking money. You know, it's literally a thing of where they was trying to change Miles' shit up, and Miles took his masters and was running down the street. They chasing the man. You know what I'm saying? He like, fuck y'all. He got the pistol. Literally, you know, he tripping with these folks like on some, you know, on some like street shit. Like, give me my music. I ain't fucking with y'all. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna deal with y'all. This is my passion. This is my music. You know, we've seen Prince have fallouts. We've seen, you know, so you can talk about all kind of artists, and that's why they say a lot of artists are very difficult people to deal with, because the creation and the thing that you do really doesn't correlate to money. That's why they so great at what they do. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, it was issues with Michael Jackson and record companies from time to time, because, you know, he had this thing in his head and he like, you know what? And that was the split with the American Bully people. You had dudes like myself that, you know, no matter how hard my life got, and I'm not patting myself on the back because I feel like you're supposed to do this. I wouldn't be doing my grandmama and my grandpapa no justice if I changed up in any kind of way. But no matter how bad this shit got, you know, I turned down countless times where I could have bred. I turned Bashar down a lot of times. I turned a lot of Miyagi people down. I ain't fucking with y'all. I probably didn't turn down well over $500,000 in studs to people who had that dream of taking, you know, Denzel blood. And especially after Bashar made Magoo, you know what I mean? That's what it was. What's going on, Aaron? Let me know as soon as them papers touch down. They blowing. They in the wind now. They out my hands. Finally, huh? But Aaron got a bad bitch too. I think I posted her on one of the pages this morning. Yeah, I'm proud of my kids. But when you get people who are so passionate about something like a lot of us are, it hurts. You know what I mean? It hurts. Because the separation, if y'all wonder why the real EE, I don't know if they still got an EE or call themselves the EE, but they'll never repeat what we did, is because you had kennels that were individual kennels, but that was bringing the funk, you know, that really, really cared about this breed. We was breaking our backs. And I'm giving Dave his credit, because Dave fought like a motherfucker. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. The old Dave, he fought so hard for the American Bully. I seen Dave personally, because I drove up there a few times in the process. You know, like I told you, that was my cat, you know what I mean? And he calling me and shit, we gotta come up with whatever, and I'm like, okay, it's in the wind. It's coming to you right now. You know, and we had a few other cats that would do that, but Dave was up there getting it, man. I remember I seen him the one time. It was only like a month or so span that we had seen each other. Man, this brother literally had lost like 20 plus pounds. I thought Dave's ass was sick, but they was stressing him out like that. It was like the whole city up there in Virginia was against Dave. They didn't want these dogs there. It was so bad at the first show, right? It was a car show / dog show. You know, I had brought a lot of girls and shit in. Buffy the Body, Vita Guerrero was supposed to be there, and the girl Hoops, but they planes got stuck. One of them got, well, I think they both was in Canada. They might have been at the same show. But yeah, but Dave, man, when I showed up, I said, damn, Dave, you all right? He said, man, I ain't eating. He was looking bad. He was looking so bad his shirt size changed. For literally, he had to get a smaller shirt. But you know, that the grind was so tough. You had people who was passionate like that. You know, of course, you had a lot of street type dudes, and you had all these dudes that was doing different things, but we was fighting the law. John Easterly. If y'all don't know who John Easterly is, and that's my brother, I love him. Don't y'all never let nobody tell y'all no different. And he loved me. He called to check on me. I just seen that he actually called through Facebook and checked on me when I got in an accident. But I you know, I cut a lot of that stuff off so I could rest. But John, man, John, motorcycle guy. You know what I'm saying? He was going before the big politicians, not just city council. He was talking to senators, you know what I'm saying? He was everywhere, you know, never changing his stilo. John to have his, you know, his motorcycle gear on sometimes, and sometimes, you know, John from Detroit, he started dressing like a pimp, you know. You got this damn, you know what I'm saying, 6'2", you know what I'm saying, white chocolate pimp going up there. You know, but John fought, man. John fought. And one thing I tell y'all, and I'm just giving all these dudes love because they such beautiful people, man. Is John is the one person I know, right, during that time that I can honestly tell you would never accept money for anything. I'm talking about John Easterly. If you wanted him to show, he was a judge, but he would not accept money for judging where you need me to be at. You know what I mean? The most he might say sometimes, go ahead and get me a room, but I'm not charging you. John would get in his truck, drive the whole way. I don't give a fuck if it's 1,000 miles. Literally, he would drive from Michigan to Florida, Michigan to Texas, and to be to the point where, okay, the ABKC stage, I mean the Elite Edge stage is in Virginia. I'm gonna drive through Virginia, pick that up, and he would haul ass. That's why I could never say nothing about that brother, man. John is a beautiful person, man. You know, and I wish him the best too. I need to get on the phone with my brother. I finally, as y'all see, I don't sound like Count Dracula no more. It still comes though. Mike can tell y'all that if you talk to me in the morning, it's hard. But you know, this was the passion, and that's why I say we broke up, because can you imagine being the type of man that you take off from Michigan, drive all the way to Virginia, and then make it all the way down to Florida just to judge a show, and you paying all of this out of your own pocket just to make sure that this breed is pushing? You know, John would go different places all around the country, whether it was Denver, whether it was whatever, fighting for not only the American bully, but the pit bull. You know what I mean? We was all throwing in big money to fight BSL. We were paying lawyers. We was somewhat rebels, because when they said you couldn't have pit bulls in Miami, we was going to Miami. You know what I'm saying? And setting up interviews and shit like that, and we'll have the dogs tucked off, and when they blow down, they say there's no pit bulls allowed here, and this and that and the other. You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, hey, this is an American bully. This is what the paperwork say right here. And we started off challenging the BSL laws in communities that were already not allowed to have pit bulls. What was crazy is, if y'all don't remember this, y'all remember when all the airlines banned the pit bulls. It was literally 5 years before they start banning American bullies, because we had actually paid the lawyers, and the lawyers had made it definite. If this dog is registered, it has official paperwork, everything was official, of course, through the government. We did all of the trademarks and everything we needed. By law, they had to add the name of this dog as it was stated and identified now in order to keep us off the airlines. They literally didn't do that. They didn't start doing it for 5 years. Some of them didn't get it done until the last 5 years period, where they finally start saying that you can't ship them cargo. But that was the type of work that we was doing. The ABKC originally, every single dollar, I'm sorry, I don't want to lie to y'all. Every time you registered a dog with the ABKC, at least $2 was supposed to go towards a legal fund to help fight BSL laws, to help fight animal abuse, to help fight any of the abuses and neglects and laws that were going to affect not only the American bully, but the pit bull breed. This is what it was established as. Now y'all wonder why some of us had hard feelings, because none of that was done. When certain people got their hands on it and start getting a couple dollars in, and maybe start finding out what the seats of a Mercedes feel like and different shit like that, they changed their whole morals and what the fight was about. I'm gonna be real with y'all. For me to see my old cat, Dave Wilson, sit there and take a picture with a dog like Beanstalk, it's like, wow. It fucks me up sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It fucks me up to know who this guy was and what he was fighting for and how he used to really fight for the American bully and how much passion he had. It let me know I don't never want to be that greedy. I don't never want to be that greedy that it can just change everything that I believe in, that I change. You know, it's like it's one thing to sell out, but you changed as a whole man. You know, you know, you changed as a whole entire man. This is why you see such a separation in the breed. And this is why I'm saying now is that now, you know, God has blessed me. Ultimate Opportunist, man, hit me up. I actually got some videos done, and I can talk to people on the phone. So the mentorship program is going to be back here full swing this week. But wow, you know what I mean? It's, and I lost my train of thought for a second, but you know, it's been a blessing to be in this position now to really officially kick this TBKC thing off. And my phone number is 346-349-9840. Or you can go to Hall of Fame Bullies on Facebook, or True American Bully on Instagram. But yeah, that number is 346-349-9840. And I'll post it too. You know, I'll post it too, because I know it's going to be a lot of needing to get in contact with this week as we get these paperwork rolling and start announcing these shows. But you know, this is what I'm telling, you know, our community of those who, you're right. This is what I'm telling our community of those who are very, very serious about it. The TBKC is basically going to be set to be what the ABKC was meant to be. We don't want to stop the good fight. We want to represent our dogs. We want it to be less breed restrictions against these dogs. We want to push to model these dogs more so after athletic beasts. You know what I mean? And it's not saying that your dog has to be a greyhound, but the only way that the breed can truly survive and thrive is if we really, really put a focus on making very, very clean. The number is 346-349-9840. That's 346-349-9840. And it's amazing because I remember my number. I used to forget my number all the time. That's all them shots to the head. But the thing that we have to do is we really, really have to push for health again. You know, and y'all gonna hear me say health, 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 you know, a million times. Edge, not on the end that we was talking about. I'll make sure I get in touch with you today. I promise you that, brother, so we can have a conversation, because you'll be well taken care of. But yeah, it really is time to bring the American bully back. Not to say we want fighting dogs, not to say we want aggressive dogs, but I want a dog that, you know what I mean, can run around the yard. We want dogs to come to our yeah, let's talk about that, right? You know, we want dogs that can move, that can sunbathe, as Tyler says. And all my dogs can sunbathe. All my dogs get out there and they run around, and you know, they love life. So we have to continue that part of the process. But the one thing I will tell you is that health is the only thing that matters. I don't care how much hype and how much promotion that we put behind these dogs. If the dogs are dying in 2 or 3 years, if the dogs are constantly falling out at places, they become more and more hard to breed and hard this and that and the other, it's not going to work out well for us. I'm just going to tell you that. It's not going to work out well for us. We're going to be in a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? We're going to be in a lot of trouble. It is, you know, people have been talking about Odell because I put up the pictures of Odell and everything. I'm going to be honest with you. As bully as Odell is, he's a lot like his daddy. 90-degree weather is no problem for him. I mean, he's out there kicking it. You know, he's out there, and I was interested to see that, you know, because he's a fawn dog, you know, which isn't black, but it's darker than the traditional, you know, white and champagne. He has no problem. You know what I'm saying? He has no problem at all with heat. This is you know, a dog that can survive the elements is a big game changer as you push a breed through. You know, a dog that we are willing to put through genetic testing and to start breeding properly and eliminating the bad ones is going to be a very, 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 very big deal. You know, Mike, that's what I tell people all the time. Mike Sniper Bailey, you always got to throw that sniper in there. He's seen him a couple occasions when he came down to do his breedings, and the dude, he breathes straight through the nose. You know, no struggles, no nothing. He goes outside, he's still breathing straight through his nose. This is something that we have to promote. My dogs are not the only ones that do this. I know a lot of Oscar's dogs, very, very big dogs, those dogs breathe through their nose. RPM, I'm gonna make you one promise today. We gonna talk. I got my voice back and it's long overdue. We gonna talk today. Yeah, you know, I don't have a problem with natural ears. I think if they sit well, excuse me, and Odell's ears sit very, very well, I don't have a problem with natural. I don't have a problem with natural ears. I love natural ears, man. Now certain dogs, it's just beautiful when you trim them. So I'm one of them people that's either or. I've had dogs that have oh, it's getting a lot better, brother. RPM is getting a lot better. But I've had dogs that have that have had the, you know, their ear crops, and I love their ear crops, of course, whether it's Mandela or Denzel or whoever. And then I've had dogs like Castro, where Castro just had a beautiful ear set, so it never bothered me that his ears weren't cropped. And as far as judging goes, this is something that I get asked a lot. A dog should never be penalized for not having his ears cropped. If you don't crop your dog's ears, it should not be a penalty. There are certain things with the natural ears that could be held against you in the ring if your dog has like bad ears, where he's got those Frenchy ears or whatever. If you've got a puppy with Frenchy ears that like to just stand up and they're really super, super long, cut those ears, because a lot of judges are going to think Frenchy, you know, and they'll probably hold it against you in the ring, and they might not be wrong about that. You know what I mean? You want those ears that do the nice teardrop, you know, a good set. Bullies are not supposed to have bad ears. and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've had a couple dogs that for whatever reason they had bad ears. I don't know what the hell. And these was dogs that had my own shit for like 7, 8 generations. So I know it wasn't no BS in there, but you know what I mean? Those ABKC judges, I don't know what the hell they be thinking sometimes. They still on the too clean thing. I've heard a few of them recently quit because they said they were pushing this extreme thing too hard. So that's a good thing. But I tell you what, an issue that's been brought up here several times, and I don't want to ignore my man. The bitches not being able to have natural litters. Y'all forgive me, I got to keep on drinking some of this good old caffeine tea. But it's a problem. I myself, and I'm just being honest with y'all. Oh, Oscar the man. We ain't gonna say too much though, but Oscar the man. But I'm gonna tell you, we have to be very, very careful on all of these things where these bitches can't even breed naturally. And it's not to say we all live so many millions of miles away, you know what I mean? You got to ship semen here, ship semen there, put it in a box, ship it here, ship it there. Hell, you know, I recently just had, you know, well, that wasn't recently, but sort of not so long ago, you know, had you shipped to Canada one day and South America another day, you know what I mean? So I understand that we can't do every breeding in person, especially not nowadays, but we should be focusing on, if you have bitches that have a problem having their puppies naturally and it's just like an absolute option, not an option at all, you have to keep that in your mind, you know, because those things are genetic and they do pass down. If you have a bitch that has very, very small litters, that passes down. Fertility passes down. Fertility is genetic, you know. That's why I like to see bitches that come from a stock of you know, of a mama that's throwing 5 or more puppies, because in my experience, the bitches who throw 1-2 puppies, you know, per litter, their daughters do very, very similar. Now, it's not always guaranteed, but it's a very, very good shot that if your dog comes from a non-producing bitch, your female is gonna have those same genetics to not produce that many eggs, you know. And I've seen these bitches that do it, you know, even with surgicals, it doesn't matter. And you know, this is a thing of existence. Are we trying to change this dog, you know? Man, Brian, chill out. Them AI, I'm gonna have to talk to you, tell you how to do them AIs. That shit easy as hell. You just, you know, you're probably nervous, man. But, you know, at least your boy took care of the business. He said, get out the way. I do this thing the right way. You know, and you know, and our main thing is that I don't even think about if it's a big issue about the natural breeding as much as it is their ability to whelp. So many of these bitches have like dramatic problems during labor. It's amazing. Like at some point in time, you know, we lost that ability, you know. Oh, hey Mark, we had some guys who cared about the breed back in the day, man. We don't have that much now, but we gonna get it back. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'll finish this and then I'll talk about the allergic reactions. You know, the further we go into this thing of the dogs not being able to breed properly, they're gonna get worse. You know, and as they get worse, you know, other complications come up. Some of it's from the dogs wanting to be such massive in one way and so compact in another way that the females have a more compacted uterus and it makes it harder to hold bigger puppies. That's an issue, but we have to really make a decision, you know what I mean? We had to make a decision on what exactly we're gonna have to do here, you know. Now, allergies. Okay, this is theory. This is based off of some science. When the American bully was first made, right, it was a very, very, very small gene pool. With all the glory that you hear of the Razor's Edge dogs, if you actually look back to the Razor's Edge dogs, they were basically coming from a very, very small gene pool of dogs. Well, as the breeding thing expanded, we do what we always do. Our method of getting looks and getting results is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on things that we've seen work in the past. That's only one problem with that. You tighten the gene pool even more. Now, as gene pools get super tight and genetics get super tight, the immune system is suppressed. Many of you have heard me talk about the great, you know, the different plagues throughout the world, and when these sicknesses hit areas and killed a lot of people, they started to find that it was a correlation in many of those areas that you had, you know, a lot of incest, you know, in the more ancient times, because they believed in blue blood theories. And, you know, that's basically what we believe in, you know, with dogs is blue blood. You don't want to mess up your bloodline. So it's a lot stranger when it's people, so that, you know, they would breed with their cousins. I'm gonna marry my cousin. In some cases, they would marry, you know, their brother or their sister. Well, this allowed for their immune systems to be suppressed greatly. So some of the plagues, it wasn't that the plagues were so devastating. It was just the fact that they hit an area where these people had these, you know, very, very screwed up genetics, and it allowed for basically a minor virus to just ravage them. They didn't have anything in their tank to you know, to fight it off. And that was one of the things, you know, when they talked about it in history, they said, well, why would some areas, you know, um, get these different diseases and these different plagues, and it seemed like it didn't affect them nearly the way it did to others. Well, that was one of the big correlations, is that in those areas, you know, you had more sickly people because they were still on that thing of, you know what I'm saying, if you look back through some of the kings and queens and different things from different countries back then, they were all related, you know. The king and the queen might be first cousins, you know, and then they would do the exact same shit with their kids, you know, and you can imagine doing that. You know what I mean? It's something else. You know, the thing about it is we use a flat term of saying inbreeding, right? Well, if we just say inbreeding, that's one thing. But what if you're inbreeding two inbred dogs? And we have to remember, this is multiplication, this is not math. So multiplication versus math works good when it's 2 + 2, 2 × 2. But the next phase, it just doesn't do the same thing. You know what I mean? 4 + 4 = 8. You know, 4 × 4 is 16. This is the way genetics work. Genetics multiply. It's not just a simple addition. And the further it goes, the bigger the gap becomes. And a lot of these dogs in the bully world now are so closely bred that when you do what you think is a basic line breeding now, you're pushing probably more so a inbreeding, because the genetics are just way, way, way too tight. Way too tight, you know. And we got to do better. Now you have the influx of all of these other bloods, some of them that are not so great, and they bring on a second set of problems as far as you know, chromosomes and genetic material that might not match up with what we were doing before. So you introduce other you know what I'm saying, when you introduce other, you know what I'm saying, issues. And no matter which way it goes, you know, it's gonna be one of those things to where we have to find ways to break, you know, break our patterns. Like, for instance, I'll tell y'all with me, and y'all always hear me talk about, you know, Oscar's blood. So in my yard, you know what I'm saying, the thing of it is that I'll use, because I have a lot of course, tightly bred Denzel stuff and tightly bred Mandela stuff now, and I still have some of my Castro stuff and all of that, you know what I mean, is I'll use Oscar stuff or Pratt stuff to break it down, you know, and it'll break the gene pool very, very good, that I can push out another 10 years as long as I do the right type of breedings. And I just seen Nick jump on there, and what he said is absolutely right. Following these hype dogs, it makes for a huge problem. Like, in no other breed will you ever see what happened, and I know y'all about to say, oh my God, here he goes. But what happened with Dax would never happen in any other breed, because most other breeds don't go with the hype stud like this community does. And we're seeing it happen again, we're seeing it happen again with Rocco, is that people go so hard with these hype studs and who's the next big stud, that you'll have one stud, you know, have so many kids. And what makes it even worse is that when they have those kids, you know what I mean, those people who get their kids breed the same way. So what you have is a couple dogs and their blood starts to dominate that certain field. And yeah, of course the people like the way that they look, but do they like the way that they live? Because they die so quick. And one of the biggest things is that all of the hype people seem to breed to each other. So, you know, so when they're bred so much to each other, once again, it just breaks them down and breaks them down and breaks them down, and the pattern doesn't change. They think because the name changed, the pattern changes. You know, first it was Dax, right? Dax is incredible, you know what I'm saying, numbers. His numbers was off the charts. He had a whole lot of puppies. His puppies had a whole lot of puppies. Then after him came along, you know what I'm saying, you started to see the era of Rocco, which of course you had Magoo in between there, you know, talking about extreme dogs. But the thing of it is you had Magoo blood, you had this blood, you had that blood, and it was tons of that blood, but Magoo's blood was, you know, supposedly Dak's blood too. Then you would have people running Magoo back to Dax. Then you would have people running Magoo back to Rocco. And it's a ton of this blood, and now you end up with even tighter blood because it's all the same blood mixing in again. You know, not to mention all of the different bulldogs that they put in there and confuse the gene pool even more. You know, so overall, that type of stuff is destroying, you know, is destroying what we do. It's no scientific breeding anymore, you know. The scientific breeding part has gone away. People aren't looking for pedigrees that actually match up and say, you know what, we can make something out of this. No, more so they'd be like, you know, I'm gonna put my breeding up and it's 5 times Rocco and 8 times Dax and 2 times Denzel, and this is what's selling. And even when you ask those people to explain why they did those type of breeding, they can never tell you. You can ask them a million times over, compounding monkey crap. You can ask them a million times over and they would never be able to give you a straight answer as to why it is that they're breeding the way that they're breeding. They just are breeding, you know? And it's scary at times that we've gotten this bad with this stuff, you know, that we don't really care about what we're breeding. We're just out here, we're gonna do whatever we feel like and move forward, you know? I don't foresee it getting a lot better on their side. I think what our plan over here to do is it'll get better, and it'll get better a lot faster because we're just going to eliminate a lot of the bad genetics, you know. Over the next, I say 3 years, you're going to see a lot more dogs be banned. You're going to see a lot of more execution on our part of trying to clean up the gene pool in the American bully, and we're not going to fall for the thing of, oh, these are classics and this and that and the other. Some of the dogs will be 100+ pound dog on a standard frame. You know, you could end up with a dog like Mandela who, you know, eclipsed 100 pounds on what was technically he's 16, a little over 16, so that's technically a pocket, you know. So what was technically a pocket, you know, when him in his prime, he's a pocket 100+ pound dog. Very, very heavy dog, very, very heavy bone. You can end up with that in the ring, you know. Of course, he needed to tighten up the skin and shit like that, but that's something else. But you have to work the genetics, you know. You know, I honestly am not against adding some Amstaff and pit bull blood if you can find the proper dogs to do it and have the patience to work with it, you know. Because right now, all that's going to do truly is counteract all of the BS that has already been put in there. Yeah, absolutely. Minimize line breeding as much as you possibly can. I'm still a fan of line breeding, but I think that the way that we yeah, gaff is, gaff blood used to be a beautiful thing. I'm still a fan of line breeding, but I also think that there needs to be more education on line breeding. Someone mentioned earlier that you have to have an out. You do have to have an out. You shouldn't have, you know, so many pedigrees where it's 10 times one dog in your pedigree. You have to balance this, and it's not just the dog. You're balancing genetics, and that's a big thing to remember. Most people always talk about the dogs. Oh, I'm just gonna put some different blood in there. Well, does that blood cater to your dog's weak points? So for instance, if you have a female and she has a weak rear, when you do your out, you should be, you know what I'm saying? You should be choosing a blood that has very, very strong rears. So you're adding that to the table, not just looking for a blood and say, oh, I like the way those dogs look. And when you match up your dog with that dog, they have the exact same issues. Because like we say, it's multiplication. So that issue is just not, you know, 2 + 2. It's going to be, you know, 4 × 4. It's going to be one of those things, you know. It's going to be one of those things where it magnifies and it magnifies and it magnifies. And it turns into a collapse. A lot of what everybody, I think gaff dogs would definitely be considered classic, you know. But they do bring to the table some great genetics and the ability to build upon that. That's true foundation. I would rather have my dog a little more classic with a true health and confirmation foundation than to go out and buy a screwed up dog as one of my foundation dogs. And you're not going to fix that stuff. You know, you're not going to fix that stuff. It's going to be a grind. I'm going to tell y'all that, man. And really the best part of it is that we do have a large crew of people who are very, very interested in trying to change the breed, so to speak, and trying to make the breed step up and trying to heal this breed. And structure and health is going to be absolute must. You know, you said how long before running a pup to 7 months? I don't try to exercise my dogs really until after a year. A lot of it has to do with the growth plates. And hopefully I didn't mess that question up. Probably did, because I saw it right at the end. You know what I mean? But yeah, Nick, you've been stocking up for real. You know, when you do an outcross, for instance, this is something, just an example. So I have a very cute, cuddly guy at the house that I like. I have a very cute, cuddly girl at the house that I like. They're not brothers and sisters. But what I plan on doing is getting the straws off of probably Sway from Pratt's. And I'll breed those two dogs together, and it'll give me a combination of incredible blood. You know, Nemesis, King Kamali. I'll have some Remy in there. I'll have some Denzel in there. It'll be all great. So what I can do in that situation is I can keep a female off of that, you know, and I can actually run that female if I want to another outcross. Because never be afraid to take your blood instead of 50% down to 25. Because once you basically manipulated, and that's the breeding that you would want to keep 2 or 3 females for. Because now you've manipulated it to the point to where you've added a ton of good genes that you like outside of your gene pool. And by doing 2 back-to-back breedings, you kept your gene pool in there, but those other 2 breedings, you have more than enough room to add your blood back in there. And when you add it back in there, you know what I'm saying, the percentages are so good that you can, you know, cross them up for a couple generations. And you're talking about a 10-year span to, if you play it right, that you don't even have to go back out just off of 2 studs. You can play around with those breedings like water. Just, hey, let it flow, baby, because you can make, like, I just talked about the Sway breeding. Well, another breeding that I want, and I'm gonna have they're coming at the same time, would be the I would get in Honey Badger, which is a Sway son. You know, now you got Honey Badger, who is a Sway son, so that gives you Nemesis and King Kamali. Honey Badger has some of Oscar stuff in there, which will give you that good Excalibur blood. Now, after I do the breeding, which the female that I want to take Sway to is a Mufasa daughter. So on her flip side, she has, and I hope I don't bore y'all too much with this shit, but on her flip side, she's 2 times Lock and Load, which was Bistro's dad. So, you know, this is excellent blood up here. This shit is, her shit is right up front, where she's 2 times Lock and Load. He's her grandfather twice. Now, you know, that going to Mufasa. So after I go ahead and breed that to Sway, you've got a little bit more Excalibur blood in this. Those puppies are actually, if I want to do a brother-sister breeding and take a female off of there, the Honey Badger, they're actually perfect for me to shift my yard and make a bunch of puppies that have a tad bit of my stuff in there, but have King Kamali, Nemesis, and then more of Oscar stuff in there. Now, when I have those puppies, I would keep 2 or 3 females off of that shit, and then I come back and I hit it with, I go ahead and I hit it with Odell. I'll use the Denzel straw. I bring in Mandela. And now I'm taking puppies off of each one of those breedings, and I'm flip-flopping them to each other. The whole while, the Excalibur blood never goes over 50%. My blood never goes over 50%. And of course you would have the Pratt blood, it never goes over 50%. You could almost make a pie chart to where you're getting this to be 2/3 blood for generations. You move it around, so you can keep on bouncing it, and picking dogs off of your yard, or maybe you place a dog with somebody and you go back and you use him, and you literally off of 2 breedings, you shift the whole way your yard is going, and you've got great genetics to where now it's weird because you're going back to tighten down your own blood. And this is the way most dog breeders do. The serious outs sometimes are a 2-step phase to loosen your blood up so much that you're going back to a plan to tighten it back down. You want just enough in there of you that you're still line breeding and pulling the look back, but you're loosening it back up, and it gives you generations where you can come right back, and now you can watch out how it grows. And of course, you still got your shit on the backside, you know what I mean? You still got your blood, but these bitches are gonna be your new foundation. And when you're doing these outcrosses, it should be for all characteristics that you need. So for instance, my dogs at some point lack size. Mandela really brought the size into there. This is why I'm so interested, and I was so incredibly interested in getting a Mufasa daughter that was 2 times lock and load. Even though lock and load represents bistro and some other smaller dogs, lock and load was a bigger dog. So by pulling the genotype of Mufasa, who was a bigger dog, with the lock and load, who was a bigger dog, it brings that size. Through my experience, when you took dogs who had a good combination and a good balance of pocket blood with dogs who had size, you were able to create bigger, thicker pockets, or shorter, thicker standards that had the features of the shorter dogs but carried the size of the bigger dogs. And of course, not everybody in the litter is going to be like that, but when you find those guys, this is why it's selective breeding. You pull those babies out. Now I'm taking y'all phenotype with the genotype that you have behind there, and I'm pushing that towards something else that came out like you, because it gives me a way higher percentage of recreating that look. Most of the times in the earlier days, we would only get maybe 1 bully puppy in a litter. You might have an 8 puppy litter, and it'd only be 1 or 2 dogs in there that was really worth keeping in order to keep pushing for what you did. But you would take those dogs and of course match them up with other dogs that came out with that phenotype, still playing with the same genetics. And no matter what anybody tells you, you know what I mean? Breeding is a combination of genotype and phenotype. You know, because it's this weird little thought process in our community. Somebody's waking up. It's this weird thought process in our community that genotype is only represented, you know what I mean, when you talking, you know what I mean? So the funniest, I have that girl. Yeah, I have that Mufasa daughter. But the funniest thing about that is that the phenotype is actually, you know, the end to the equation of these genetics, you know. So when you put your breedings together, you know, you're putting it together based off of the genetics that you see there. And then, you know, the phenotype presents how the chromosomes matched up on this particular dog. Litter mate brothers aren't exactly the same, you know. And you'll run into those weird situations. Of course, we push towards the phenotype, but sometimes you'll push towards the weird situation where you find out 2 years down the line that one brother actually throws the genes of the other brother. So now you got to switch it up. But I've always found it to be smarter to take, you know, if you want it big, take the big brother, you know. And but I do warn, you know, the breeding is not 100%. It's a process. I know. And 2 dogs I produced, Denzel, you know, during his breeding career, he produced more dogs like, you know, I guess like Rome. He produced several dogs that looked like his brother Rome, but Denzel never really quite produced a dog that looked exactly like himself. The funny part is that Rome had several sons that looked exactly like Denzel, a ton like Denzel, especially some of the ones in Puerto Rico. And, you know, he didn't throw his blue brindle as much. And it amazes you sometimes that it's like they basically, you know, flip-flop balls. They you know, two brothers producing the other brother's look. But of course with Denzel's look, that would have been Hallie's look, which was Rome's mother. So, you know, like, we always want to say that it's like a clear-cut way when you're breeding. A lot of this shit is trial and error, but you want to give yourself you know what I'm saying, you want to give yourself the absolute best chance to produce what you're trying to produce. Having patience. You know, I told y'all some of the guys I talked to, like Tyler. Tyler's a scientist with this stuff. He studies pedigrees. He knows what he's looking for. Nick Pike is excellent, man. Nick is pulling up dogs that I didn't even know exist, but the characteristics, the phenotype that they have matches up so well with the genotype that, you know, it's stuff that you desperately want to add into the program, because some of these dogs, you know, as they start to go, it's almost like they're going extinct, you know. And one of the main things is those two individuals that I brought up, my guy, you know, Mike Bailey, I know Rico, I can keep on going on and on, Northern Edge Bullies. At one point or another, I've always had the same conversation that we all do have one thing in common, is that we do want dogs that are sound in structure and can and will be able to breathe and move, you know. So going on that pattern, we can sort of bounce ideas off of each other. Like, it's very rare, I don't even know if it's ever happened, but like with Nick and the conversations that I had with Tyler and the dogs that we talk about, we all pretty much like, okay, he's nice. He might be too big for me, he might be too small for him, but that's a badass dog. And I think as everybody builds their program, you should try to stick in circles like that of people who are like-minded in what they like, you know. It's no need to waste time on I mean, you're not going to change the minds of these extreme people. I found that out. Trust me, they put me through it. They worked my nerves. They put a couple extra gray hairs on my head and whatever the case may be. But, you know, they're never going to change. You know, it's a business to them, you know. Yeah, you know, I see a lot of my dog's ancestors come through their genetics, you know, from time to time. And I think, you know, the great breeders master the characteristics of their ancestors. And that's what, you know, and that's what we're supposed to be trying to do. Paco, I would love to remake a dog like Paco. I have Paco in the pedigrees. I would love to remake a dog like him. It doesn't have to be brindle, but just that thickness on that frame with that kind of conformation and the ability to breathe and move well and everything like that, that would be an incredible dog to recreate, you know. And you know, you see these genes come through left and right, you know. You got some puppies and you look at them, you're like, damn, you know, that dude there is all right, you know. He reminded me of such and such, and you see those genes come through. But one thing I've learned from some of the greats is that I always got to be a family guy. One thing that I've learned from some of the greats is that, and I'm not talking about in this breed, but in other breeds, is that we have to have the ability to isolate those genes and to keep those genes in full rotation. That's what's going to make you a great breeder. And it didn't matter, you know, and I've never been shy about telling y'all the people that I've talked to. I've dealt with game dog people. I've dealt with some of the best Rottweiler people in the world, literally. You know, I've dealt with Doberman people, you know, some South African Boerboel people, some Clumber Spaniel people, you know. The list goes on. I even, you know, talked heavy to one of a Westminster winner. Didn't win the best in show, but she won for the pug, you know what I mean? Her pug was the representative in the best in show. You know, and one thing I find in common with all of those people is they're obsessed with isolating the genes and isolating a look. Finding dogs that carry this one particular look the whole way through, finding everything about that dog, and their ethics are so differently. The way they go about things, it's amazing. Is that, you know, when you talk to a lot of these breeders, man, say if it's a litter of 7 puppies, more than likely only 2 of those puppies are going to be made. Pee-wee was a beautiful mother. Shut your mouth. I love Pee-wee. Clydesdale to me is, jeez. If you'd have gave Clydesdale a better rear, him, Pokemon, good Lord. But that's you know, those are the type of dogs that are. King Kamali's still the greatest. I could go on and on with these dogs, man. But you know, our ability to isolate those genes, and it's one thing that over this quarter of a century with the American Bully that very few have been able to do, is isolate the genes well enough that you continue to make the same dog over and over again. And I know it sounds crazy, but you have to think that this is the way breeds are made. Because you imagine how hard it is to get to that point of how Dobermans are, you know. This is a whole entire breed where all of the dogs pretty much look alike. Of course, some have the bigger chest and all that stuff, but for the most part, Dobermans look like Dobermans, you know. And that comes from a lot of selective breeding. The same thing with Rotties and other breeds. We have to get to that point to where we're so selective that we are refusing to put some dogs up as whatever, you know, a breeding stock, a show dog. We have to start pet homing more dogs. Not every freaking dog is meant to be bred, you know. Not every one. I'm sorry, it's just not that way. And this thing of, you know what I mean, people showing, I'm being silly right here, but people, you know, they show you the damn x-ray picture, and they want to show you a damn skeleton of the x-ray, talking about he's the next big stud. Let me tell you something about studs. I've been blessed. I've had, in my opinion, the best female in this breed ever. I've had one of the best studs to ever do it, show ring, best all around. And if we just put the whole resume together, he might be talking about being the GOAT in Denzel, you know, as far as his show, his production, and his overall blood influence on the breed. You know, very few have ever done what he's done, you know. No one has done what he's done, honestly, in the show ring, because some things it's not even possible for other dogs to do, because he was the first to, you know, first to win in several registries, win championships, the first ever to be a 3-time champion. Y'all know all that bullshit. And then, you know, came along Mandela. And Mandela, what he did for me was took the top off. Now, yes, I dreamed it, you know what I mean? I dreamed it. That's what I wanted. I wanted so bad. Boom, boom, but this and that and the other. I dreamed it, you know what I mean? But I didn't, you know, even when you dream it up, you don't think it can happen. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, getting to be his dad for these years, and that motherfucker's amazing, man. I mean, incredibly big bone, just everything big about him, gigantic head, just all the big giant features, but you know, just a gentle giant, beautiful dog, man. Can get tough and don't have no problem being protective and everything, but at the same time you see the damn kid stepping on his head and him helping him up on the bed. And Mandela took the top off because Mandela made me dream bigger. Honestly, you know, Mandela made me dream a lot bigger. You know, I hated that he's getting old. I hated that Denzel's at the end of the road, and you know, but Mandela made me dream as big as I could possibly dream. The Denzel era is, you know, like I say, it's at the end. You know, straws, you know, keep it going, but it is what it is. The blessing part with these dogs is that I got in my own yard to see a progression, and I think a lot of people miss that progression, and you miss the road. You know, it's like just being given something. You don't appreciate things when it's given to you. You know, 15, yeah. You don't appreciate it as much, and I appreciate it. And throughout all of my struggles and everything, I think now I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm getting there. I'm getting back. I have my good days and my bad days, but when I'm really feeling it, I'm out there like a dog man again. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know. Shoot me a message because I don't know about like the calls. You shoot me a text and just tell me who you is and whatever to the 346 number, because a lot of that stuff is out of there. So that's why I've been telling people that. That's why I just told them I got this stuff sitting up here, so I'll ship them out. But at the end of the day, when it boils down to the stuff, man, it's you know, it's amazing to watch the progress, because you see the things that's wrong. Like I tell y'all, when it comes to Mandela, the loose skin, you want to tighten that. I want Kamali skin. You know, with Denzel, there was a little bit of loose skin, and as big as he was for that, I've come to find out I didn't want somebody as short as he is. You know what I mean? In his prime, he was a big dude, man. But you know, you get old, you shrivel up. But you know, it's you know, it's a hell of a thing. My health is getting back, you know. My health is getting back, and I'm feeling a lot better. I thank y'all for that, man. I'll be sincere when I tell you I thank y'all for your patience and the love and all the messages. Sometimes when I don't answer them, don't get offended. It's just I be in and out. Like I say, I done spent, especially the last few months, I done spent a lot of time in another world. You know, in another world, man. Okay, yeah, just shoot me one so I can make sure I lock it in and make sure this thing ain't blocking you out and all that good stuff. But now, going forward, I know what I have to do to beat them. You know, I have a little guy here who I really, really like for a little guy. You know what I mean? And I think he has a chance to be better than Mandela. Odell, and by the way, Odell is not, he's my dog, but he's not my production. It's off of Mandela, but that's actually Floyd's production. Floyd put the breeding together. When we looked at the pedigrees, he hit me up about that, and I knew it was something amazing, and it produced Odell. But Odell is weird with him being a Mandela son. Excuse me. He's sort of like a better version of Denzel. So, you know, I get to see all these progresses because Odell's not even 2 years old yet. He's got a while to go. But, oh, absolutely. We coming everywhere now. Shit. Y'all know how long I've been waiting on this? You know what I mean? I woke up smiling this morning. But, you know, Odell is, I'm going to answer that, ultimate opportunist. Odell is like a better version of Denzel. I don't know what his weight is going to top out at, but he's big. You know, he's big. He's like an inch. He's like the height right in between. You know what I mean? Yeah, I need to get out there. I've always planned on doing some videos with the dude, not just with him sitting on my lap, but my days get hectic. But kids will be here, so to make life a little easier, they can help me with stuff here in a couple weeks. I'll get some video of the boy, the beast. But you know, Odell, like, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, and a lot of people are missing the boat because you know, I put him out there for stud, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people have messaged him wanting to use him, but Mike's litter, he produced his ass off on Mike's litter already. That dog, I'm gonna tell you, man, the dog is special. When you look at the combination of his actual conformation is better than Denzel's in his prime, and that's saying a lot. He's bigger. He has a lot bigger head. He has the same look. He looks like he could be Denzel's son. He has all of Denzel's features, just better, and that's saying a lot. You know what I mean? That is saying a lot. That dog is going to be something special, and I think you know what I mean. Like I say, I think long term he's gonna be one of the ones that, when it's all said and done, folks like, damn, I missed the boat on him. You know what I mean? He's special. And those who know me, if y'all on this video, y'all know how critical I am. I don't pump up my dogs and this and that and the other. It's just something that's very, very incredible. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what? I am definitely looking to do a show in UK. I've got 2 different people that I've been speaking with through Messenger and stuff about the UK and about the situation over there and everything like that. We will be coming to the UK. I don't know when I'll be free to travel, but we do have Skip Miller and we do have Danny Navoa and some other people who might be able to travel. But we're going to be in the UK, and we're going to push our asses off to make sure that happens before this year is out. You know, getting our first show there. You know, really, you know, I think the UK is really starting to turn into a stronghold for the American bully, and it's unfortunate. Not speaking for you on this, but it's unfortunate some of the reports that I've been getting from the UK about, you know, the push for these unhealthy dogs and us needing to do a lot better. Now, how do we breed for a better dog? Elimination. Elimination. And this has always been something when we talk about this. Elimination is the only way you breed for a better dog. If you have a dog who has severe breathing problems, you eliminate him from the gene pool. You know, go ahead, fix him. He can be a pet or whatever. If you have a dog that has severely bad feet, you eliminate him. It is what it is. Any deficiencies that we see that are health-wise and those type of things, we go ahead and we eliminate that. Trust me, I know it hurts sometimes to fix a puppy, and you like, damn, he's so cool, but he has this. Well, it hurts worse that gene that's going to go back into the gene pool keeps coming back up because a breeder refuses to fix a dog. You know, I've fixed and pet home many dogs. You know, and I wasn't happy about pet homing some of these dogs, but it was things that alarmed me. It was things that I knew that would you know, hurt my blood, would hurt the people who would have tried to breed him if I would have sold him to him and misled him that the dog was okay. So you have to let those dogs go. You know, some people thought that I was like this master magician with the dogs. No, I just followed the old dog plan that if the dog isn't breed quality, don't breed it. You know, if a dog has a heart murmur, you fix the dog. You know what I mean? If the dog has severe breathing issues, you know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you what my thing. Certain things you can breed out. You know what I mean? Certain things you can breed out. Other things this is the thing about breeding out, right? Say for instance, I have 2 dogs. One has an issue and I have to breed them out. The other one doesn't have the issue. I might spend an extra 5 years trying to breed out a certain issue when I could have just went and found another dog that didn't have the issue. And the one thing that we don't have is time like that. You know what I mean? 5 years is a long time. That's a couple generations that you have to wait. Now, this is another thing, though. We have to decide what issues can be bred out. Some issues are very minor, and it's other circumstances that led to this issue. Say, for instance, your dog is slightly easty-westy. Bistro was like that, right? Bistro was slightly easty-westy, but the thing that made me confident about using Bistro is I looked at Lock and Load, I looked at Homie, and I kept looking back at his generations of dogs. And all through his dogs, it was amazing. Nobody else was easty-westy. So at the end of the day, hey, Braden, but sometimes you got to do that. That's a good job by you. Sometimes you got to pet home a whole litter. But you know, at the end of Bistro's thing, I didn't see any other dogs that was easty-westy. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is more circumstantial, and maybe it's possibly because of whatever effects he have with dwarfism or whatever. And I've come to find out that those effects typically won't carry over. And sure enough, I don't even think I have seen a Mandela kid that is easty-westy. You know? Exactly, Jesus. His productions weren't. And that's where you have to sort of do an evaluation and look at that pedigree and sort of go through your brain of like, is this just an abnormality or is this something that's embedded in his genetics? One thing, like, and there's certain things that you never, ever breed, like bad hips. Don't breed bad hips. You're not probably going to get very many wins with bad hips. You know what I mean? Welcome to the world. Dogs gonna eat finicky. These dogs is weird. You know, I need them old junkyard dogs that you throw anything in the bowl out there and they eat. Yeah, these dogs are very finicky eaters, you know. But, you know, I'm jumping all over the place. But the one thing, like I say, hips. Don't breed bad hips, y'all. Do not breed bad hips. If it's a severe issue with the back, you know, you're talking about spine there, do not breed that shit. Breeding it out is not really a good option. It's just not a good option. Of course, anything cardiovascular, hearts, and other things that would, you know, basically cause a dog to die. No, don't breed that. Just don't breed it. I don't care what level heart murmur it is and all that stuff. Don't breed the dog. You know, it's one of them things where we have to be better breeders than they are dogs. You know, and some dogs will always be pets, and that's cool as hell. You know, an underbite, I found that an underbite you can breed it out. You know, just being honest with you, if it's not severe, you don't want no 2-inch underbite. But if it's a slight underbite, I found that doesn't carry well. You know, and what's funny is even the kink tail doesn't carry that well. As far as, you know, I know a lot of dogs who've had kinks that didn't produce kinks, you know, so we don't know. Sometimes that's one of those unsolved mysteries of where that abnormality comes from. Some people believe that sometimes it's a deficiency in the mom not getting enough nutrition during the final stages of the dog's growth, and so the tail didn't grow all the way properly how it was. Other people have went and been relegated to the thought, and I have seen this, it seems like big litters, you know what I mean, tend to, for whatever, that'll throw you a tail. I don't know why. Big litters, the theory is that because the puppies are so scrunched up in their mom's stomach, it's not enough room. I'm not saying that this is the truth, but that's it. Lifespan, exactly. Lifespan is number one, you know. Lifespan is one of those things that drives me crazy, because if a dog falls out and dies at 3 years old, why are you trying to lion breed this dog? You know, this damn fly is getting on my nerves. Get out. Yes, he flew out. But yes, the kink is definitely a defect, and the kink is an extension of the spine. Just talking from old dog man shit, that's why I say you can breed it out. You know, I've seen a lot of dogs. King Kamali's dad had a bad tail. Denzel's dad, Gargoyle, had a bad tail. And if you look at Gargoyle, he didn't have a lot of dogs that had kink tails. I think he had a couple. And Denzel had what, 500 puppies to this point, and I can only remember a few dogs that had a kink tail, and of course that's mom and dad, you know, play a role in that. So I think the kink, I think slight underbite. I'm more scared of the overbite. I'm more scared of the overbite than I am the under. Now, stiff stifles, I wouldn't breed seriously stiff stifles. Some dogs are stiff, but they still have a bend. Other dogs have absolutely no bend. I wouldn't breed it, and it's twofold. Because the reason why with the super stiff stifles, like that, where the leg just gives you no bend, it's a multitude of problems. It's stressful on the hip because it's an unnatural movement, so the joint is taking more friction. It's also very unnatural on the knee. And you see a lot of CCL tears in these dogs that can't bend that knee. I mean, think about it, how stressful it would be on your knees and your hips if you couldn't bend your knee and you walked around all day trying to walk with, you know, with no bend in your knee. That's basically what they're doing. And then you compound the fact that we want these dogs very big and very heavy, so it's a lot of force behind them walking and moving. And a lot of times they're tearing CCLs. The hips are going bad. A lot, of course, with straight stifles, you're going to see a high rear. That's one that I would stay away from. It's damn near like right there. It's the cousin of bad hips, because and that's a severe stiff stifle. You know. Yeah, the underbite, it usually will close down. The overbite gets a little bit scary from time to time. Yeah, the overbite gets a little bit scary from time to time. You know, I've seen overbites close down at a pretty good rate too, but I've seen some that it stays there, and it seems like it gets worse from time to time. You know. Yeah, you know, but you know, yeah, it's many ways to, as my grandma used to say, skin a cat. You know, don't nobody take that the wrong way, but it's a lot that we can do. But I think the biggest part of it is education, and that breeding education has to come from many different angles. I know now that the voice is pretty much, I would say, about 75% back. I'm talking about my voice in third person. But now that the voice is back, I had some interviews already set up. I think cowhawk depends on severity too. Yeah, cowhawk depends on severity, but you have to be very careful with cowhawk for the same exact reasons: torn CCLs and immense hip pressure. Yeah, you know what I mean. The thing, I don't believe that you can clean things really out in one generation. I think if it's slight, you have a better chance of pushing it towards clean. But I think any process of dealing with a flawed dog is not a one breeding process. Because that means that the kid still has 50% of those genetics. So as you breed, you have to remember, okay, his mama was somewhat stiff in the stifles. You have to stay away from not only stiff stifle dogs with the grandkids and great grandkids, you got to deal with the stiff stifle dogs that are in their pedigree, because if you compound those genes, it can pull right back up to the front. That's why a lot of times I'm like, man, let's just get rid of this shit, you know? It's the best way, you know, it's the best way, it's the easiest way to save you some time, especially when you're looking for a stud. If you got a nice female, those are the people who drive me nuts. You have a nice female and you pick a beat up stud talking about, oh, she will fix him. No. Go get you a good damn stud, excuse me, so you don't have to clean up shit. You bringing good genetics to good genetics. You're not wasting no time or no years, you know what I'm saying? You just making what you doing better instead of all that other bullshit. I don't understand it, and I understand that it's popular studs out there, you know what I mean? A minor cowhawk dog, I'm gonna tell you, I've seen that more and more in bullies, and maybe it's because of the weight, you know what I mean? Maybe it's because of the weight, but minor, I believe that, like I've told people many times, I believe that Mandela has a minor cowhawk, the way he slants in just a little. It's hard to notice, but with me being the judge, I see it there. But his kids don't have it, you know. So I think most minor things, except for like a minor heart issue, but most minor things structurally you can get by. It's the fact that we see people breeding major things that are wrong with the dog and expecting the clean dog to clean it up, when the truth of the matter is that dog could dirty up the clean dog just as well, you know, and it just putting bad genetics out there. That you said, why do the XLs have a slight well, the XLs, we have to remember a lot of the XLs now are different breeds. If you want to look into the Doge de Bordeaux. You want to look into those dogs. You want to look at the backs on the Neapolitan Mastiffs. That's where you're going to see some of these back issues. A lot of Mastiffs don't have like beautiful top lines, you know, but a lot of them in their standards, it's allowed for their top lines to be a little bit off, you know. I feed my dogs a combination of raw and Victor, the teal bag. Yeah, combination. I'm trying, now that it's summertime, I wanna back off the raw and do what I do, you know. What does it take to run a dog registry? A lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of patience. Yeah, a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of patience, man, you know. I think that the registry thing, you know, it took off and everybody wanted to be the boss until they found out how much comes along with it, you know. It's a rough territory to be in. It beat me up to the point where I wanted to quit several times. Like, I don't need this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't need this shit. Yeah, if it's a minor flaw with the cowhawk, you know, pick a dog with great angulation, you know. Oh yeah, your morals, when you run a registry, Mike, your morals are going to be the main thing that's tested, you know. Your morals is going to be the main thing that's tested, because you're going to have those points where bills need to be paid, you know. Bills need to be paid, and a lot of times the devil carries more cash than Jesus. Let's just put it that way. Jesus knows that, you know, hey, follow me, I'll get you there in the end. The devil waves cash and easy ways in front of your face, and I've come to find out that most things that are very, very easy ain't gonna be easy on you or good for you, you know. And that's what we see, you know, especially in the dog world. It's always a way to cheat. It's always a way to get by real fast. It's always a way just to you know, do what you do. And that's sad. You know, that's the saddest thing. Dog breeding is not that hard, you know. Like a lot of other breeds, and I want to change our culture to that, or at least help change our culture to that. You know what I'm saying? I want to change it to a place where our breeders are proud of the fact that they had their dogs hips x-rayed, you know, that our dog, you know, that my dog is DNA tested, you know, my dog had this or that, you know. And the funniest thing is, you know, you see a community where people got the gold chains and people got the big trophies and people rapping now and fancy cages and this and that and the other. But nobody's pushing to say, look, I'm in here. My dog has an excellent bill of health. His hips is good. This is good. Look, I got this tested. And the thing of it is if you buy a South African Bordeaux from some of these people, you get a pamphlet of papers that look like a telephone book, and it's just history. It's history on the mom and dad and all of their medical history. It's history on your puppy after your puppy's been, you know, tested this way, tested that way. You know, you still have to go back later so they can test him when he's full grown. But we don't do that though. But yet and still we have people who you can register your dog. I'm gonna do a second video, and I promise, I told y'all that a couple times, but I promise you it will be up today, because we are set to start doing everything tomorrow with the old paperwork. So what it'll be is it's you can go on the website and click in there, but we also have just an email set up temporarily, which is TBKC registrations, where you can send in your information or whatever. You can request, you can actually pay through Cash App, or you can request a invoice to be sent for your paperwork and your mailing fees. And we're handling it pretty much on a more personal level to make sure that everything gets done. When my man is fully done with the new site, it'll be pretty much automatic that you put in all of your information and it clicks right through. I think this site now, I hate this new site, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but this site now has that option on there too, but you can do it either way, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna make a video that's more detailed so everybody can start getting it in and we can start getting the shows rolling and you know, really get this thing going. Now, before I go, like some of the things that y'all will see that'll be very, very different with TBKC shit is that our show ring is different because we really do put high value on clean dogs. It's not that we're looking for a certain bloodline and all of that shit that some people have tried to put out there, you know what I'm saying? But the process of healthy dogs means so much. And even in our judging, like say for instance, y'all have all seen where dogs are having an issue breathing in the ring. Our judges already have been informed, and I don't think they need to be informed, that if a dog is in the ring and he's gasping for air or he's loud breathing or doing any of these things, it's obviously showing that he's in distress. Not only will he not win the show, but the judge is going to politely ask the person to get the dog out of the ring and go take care of him. We're not handing out ribbons to dogs that can't breathe. You know, we're not handing out trophies that, you know what I'm saying? The TBKC stands for True Breed. Yeah, True Breed Kennel Club. But, you know, well, yeah, they need to take an ice bath. You get your ass out the ring and go take an ice bath, you know. But we will be picking more along the standards of the true American bully. Tighter skin. Mass is a beautiful thing. There's plenty of 120-pound dogs and everything like that that has the mass and has the structure. And I'm not saying that every dog that's ever won at other registries won't be able to win with us. That's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is that we are demanding that people bring good, clean, healthy dogs into the ring, and we push it that way. You know, we're bringing in other breeds. We've got a lot of other people who will be circling around us to see these shows. We want the American bully to be represented as a healthy dog. And I know some people are like, well, it's not healthy. That's partly not true, because a lot of us, including people on this post right now, have healthy dogs, and we can't continue to let other people in this community control the narrative that all American bullies are trashy, unhealthy dogs. This is one of the main goals of the TBKC, and you'll see when with the podcast and different things like that, the way that we rearrange everything, the way that we talk and deal with each other about education, the way that the interviews and how much more detailed we're going to be about what we expect. You're not going to get stupid things like, hey, your dog is too clean. I feel it's important that we break down not only the flaw, but break down the issue that comes from the flaw. And we've got a lot of very good breeders who can also help you. Some of the questions we talked about today: should I breed this? No. And the thing of it is, I think people see it. People just, it's what Mike said, is that Mike Bailey said, is that it's not whether you see it or not, it's how you respond to it. And when you see these guys in these videos and stuff, they see something's wrong with their dog. That's what the ice packs and the fans and all these other things are for, to try to keep them alive. But the moral situation in that is that I'm not willing to let this money go, so I'll fix this dog to the best of its ability, or my ability, to get him to live long enough that I can make my money back or make some extra money off of him. And that's sad that we are in that situation, that this is the way our community thinks. I would love to believe that we're going to change it overnight, but really our goal now is not to change it. It's just to be inviting to the people who believe that healthy dogs matter. Also, you'll see it all on this page, but I am going to list the TBKC shirts for sale. Basically, we have all sizes in this shirt. I got to get my man his shirt. Shit, I got, matter of fact, that's on my brain. I'm gonna hit you up. But we go up to the huge sizes now. But the new ones will be coming in. I put a stop to that not too long ago, because I told y'all about the insurance and shit. They was bleeding me for money, so I had to stop my order. But but the new ones, we will get them in very, very shortly. I'm actually going to talk to her today. And the shirts, y'all see me put them up for sale today. If you get your orders in today, and like I said, it's the same thing. I'll tell y'all how to go ahead and reach out through the email or whatever the case may be. I'll make sure that those get in the mail. I got help, so I'll make sure that those get in the mail tomorrow, and everybody can get those shirts. And we got some other stuff that's coming up. The actual stuff like the hats, the mugs, and the dog collars, you can look for more of that in July. For those who didn't know, I'm pointing y'all, it's a plaza that I'm in, but we're opening a feed store, a rather large feed store, and it'll sell shirts and dog foods, and we actually got some CBD treats and all of that stuff. Oh yeah, sweatshirts. Sweatshirts are actually coming in on this order that's coming up. We even got that'll be more towards July for the doggy hoodies and all that cute, wonderful stuff. But that'll be from the store, and anything that's not dog food we ship. So y'all see how that thing comes together, and hopefully it'll be real nice. I got some good help from some friends, so it'll be good. Hey Hawk, I'm gonna get over there, man. They just now told me I could drive. I have my license, but you know what I mean. They told me I've been cheating and doing more than I was supposed to do. That's why my ass is probably feeling so bad some of them times. But it's gonna be it's gonna be a wonderful thing, and hopefully we all have an opportunity to to do our thing. I don't know about Cali. Cali, the damn rent is too high. Ultimate opportunities, everything in Cali, you got to be Bill Gates to live out there. Y'all, they about to just change Cali into an elitist colony or some shit. Oh man, well yeah, but I got a brother he's got huge, he got acreage out there, so we already know we're gonna at least have a few good shows out in Cali. And I mean, like I say, all of this stuff is a blessing. I'm almost overwhelmed that so many people have shown so much love and still love the dogs, and a lot of people are coming back out, you know. So we're gonna get all this stuff together, man. You know, we're gonna get all this stuff. Here come Max talking about that Victor. we got to get on the phone. I shot them an email, Max, to tell them that I'm ready. They was actually in pretty good communication with me through email, that actually checking on me and everything. Now we talking about a place that we got deposits at in New Jersey, but yeah, they've been wonderful. They actually checked on your guy a few times. That made me feel good. But man, John Smith, I'll tell you, I'm gonna put the directions on here. I'm not even messing with that site. Any of y'all who see the TBKC dog site, those of you who've been following for a while, y'all know I pretty much fell out with the guy who was doing the site. It's not up to standards. We got somebody totally different who's putting together everything so it'll run smooth. We're gonna do these paperworks now, but our actual the paperwork, these paperworks will be become collector's editions, because we're gonna do the different paperwork and everything in the fall. But we just want to get rolling, and this paperwork isn't horrible, but we got a different thing in mind, man. But I'll make sure I put that up with the shirts, and I'll actually, you know, type out and make a post and make the video for the registration, and it's all going down. We will be ready tomorrow. Just actually got off the phone with my son and my other help. So we'll be ready to get this thing going, man. But hey, I thank y'all. I made it 2 hours. I can't believe I made it 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? And Ryan, hey brother, I might have to end up taking you up on that shit, man. I might really have to. You know, it's gonna get busy, but I'm excited, man. And I thank all of y'all for taking the journey with me and starting this journey. We got a lot of journeying left to do, you know. But y'all enjoy y'all Sunday, man. It's been great talking to y'all. I could talk for 4 hours, but I'm starting to feel it back here somewhere, so it's time for me to go ahead and get some oxygen. But I tell y'all what, man, y'all know what I always say. It's very important to reach out to the people who love you. You know what I'm saying? Call somebody today, man. Call mama, call grandmama. If you're blessed enough to still have them, call daddy, you know, if it's just, you know, popping in on an old friend and telling them you're thinking about them, do that, man, because you never know what people is going through. A lot of people don't even tell you when they're going through things, because they don't want to make you feel bad and get, you know, sympathy. So, you know, reach out for your people. Hey, Katrina, much love. You know, hopefully I get a chance to meet you over there. But you know, how I always end this thing: if you're gonna drink something, you know, drink good. If you're gonna smoke something, smoke good. And if you're gonna do that other thing that me and Rihanna, you know what we be doing, you better do that good, or he or she might leave your ass. But until next time, y'all, man, God bless y'all. Much love. Peace.